Alabama and Vanderbilt. It's one of Alabama's longest rivals. And the Commodores are coming to Tuscaloosa to invade. The SEC schedule starts today, and we got it for you. At least we got the pregame show. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show starts now.
The Bama Football Tailgate Show, brought to you by Bama Insider and On3 Sports Network, is on the air. The Crimson Tide are rolling, and we got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of a game day on the quad. Broadcasting each home game from the Strip in Tuscaloosa. With Bama Insider and On3 Sports Network experts weekly like Kyle Henderson, Andrew Bone, and Clint Lamb, and more. National Championship quarterback Jay Barker, and hosted by former Crimson Tide Sports Network's broadcaster and SEC Network award-winning voice, Mick Gillispie. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, the best way to host a Bama tailgate party. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's play. Now featuring the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. Also brought to you by the Floribama world-famous Beach Bar and Lounge in Orange Beach. Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Luxury with a national championship service department. Visit Sevierville.com. Your Smokies start here. Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. Innisfree, an Alabama Irish Pub tradition. Visit Tuscaloosa. Not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. Owa Theme Park and Resort in Foley, Alabama. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. R&R Cigar, home of the Victory Cigar, with 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport. Unique on the Strip. Cathead Distillery, proudly distilling award-winning spirits since 2010. Bon Royale, located at 1019 McFarland in Northport.
Well, welcome to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And the show, it'll be on for the next 2 hours. We're going to preview number 2 Alabama and Vanderbilt, 6:30 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. On today's show, we got Thom Abraham, our man from 97.7 ESPN The Zone up in North Alabama, our affiliate up there. We got Kenny White, our Sharp from Vegas. We need to get a Vegas affiliate, right? We got Andrew Bone from Bama Insider to update us on recruiting. We're going to talk with 2009 national champion Baron Huber. Trip Rogers from Innisfree, that's where we're at right now, is going to swing on and give us his perspective as we talk to you from the Strip. And, of course, there he is, Clint Lamb from Bama Insider on 3 to join us for number 2 Alabama, 3-0 against Vandy, 3-1. What is up, brother? How you doing?
Mick, I'm doing fantastic, man. How you doing today, brother?
Look, we're drinking Yuenglings. We're hanging out. We're just getting ready for football. Alabama and Vandy. It's the SEC schedule. Maybe this is the right start for the Crimson Tide. You know, kind of just this is the equivalent in football of dipping your toe in the water.
Well, yeah, 100%. I think it's important for Alabama because I think that there's some challenges that Vanderbilt can present to give Alabama some things that they, have been trying to work on. But it's not enough where I think that Vanderbilt's going to actually be in the football game. Don't tell Nick Saban I said that. But, I think this is the perfect warm-up because after this week, what do you got? You got a road trip to Arkansas. You got a home game against Texas A&M. And then, of course, you got that road game against Tennessee the week after. And then after that, you got another home game against Mississippi State going against that very unorthodox Mike Leach offense. So it's a tough 4-week stretch for Alabama after this week, which, tells you how important this week is as far as trying to get some stuff right that they've kind of struggled with through the first 3 games.
Clint, a guy came up to me from Wisconsin. He's a season ticket holder for the Badgers. He walked up, he was drinking a Yingling, and he said, I bring a case of these home, maybe 2 cases, anytime I get to a state that has them. And I said, hey, I went to school with Cheryl Yingling. She's a 6th-generation owner of Yingling, part of the company, Alabama grad. I said, as you take those little green bottles back up north, know that there's a little bit of crimson love in each one of them. And we're giving out a bunch of swag here as we hang out and talk about Alabama football. If you guys are watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, throw us a thumbs up. That's a way of saying Roll Tide. Subscribe and like. And if you haven't yet, make sure you join BamaInsider.com. You get Clint Lamb's work. You can hang out with him on the message board with Jimmy Stein. You got Andrew Bone and Joseph Hastings on recruiting. Alabama's had so much news on recruiting here lately. But, we're hanging out at Innisfree and getting ready for some football. Dude, I've got so many great memories of Alabama football on the Strip. Just getting ready for the games and going in as a fan, not just as a media person. What are some of your memories, Clint? Just forget about, the X's and O's, but some fun stuff that you remember maybe just coming here as a fan and watching some football.
Wasn't old enough to fully, get the full experience on the Strip that, I probably would be able to nowadays, but I can remember being able to, I can remember my first game actually and coming down with a couple of my buddies from high school, Keith and Kyle Cronister, and their grandparents. We took an RV. I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never been to an Alabama game. I want to say it was in 2004, maybe 2004, 2003, one of those two. And I mean, it was just when we got down there, it was go outside, throw the football back and forth, come back inside, play poker. For some odd reason, we had just gotten on the poker train. So we were all about playing some Texas Hold'em, going back and forth, and then you go down to the Strip, Buffalo Phil's, really just experience the entire thing. From that point forward, I was hooked, man. That's probably one of my fondest memories and one of the funnest weekends I've ever had was with those guys for that first game against Southern Miss back in, I want to say, 2004.
Oh, yeah. My first game was in Birmingham. They used to play the big games in Birmingham, Alabama and Auburn, the 96 Iron Bowl. But there's just something special about when you show up here and you park and you walk in and it's like you stop at the different places like Innisfree or Unique or Rounders or wherever you go. Maybe you go to the Quad. And we used to put on these big tailgates on the Quad, like right after I graduated. And those were so much fun, and then all of a sudden everybody has kids and then they start to disappear. But that's what Alabama football is all about, man. And, you got great weather and everyone's excited about the team. And they have a lot to be excited about with this team. But let me get into some football with you, Clint. Wide receiver. Has the question of wide receiver on this team been answered yet?
No. I think it's one of the biggest question marks that Alabama has remaining, right? Last year there were a couple of things that you could look at and say, okay, if Alabama's not going to win the national championship this year, this is one of those reasons. And there was the offensive line. It was a couple of spots. This year, wide receiver has become one of those question marks. And I'm not saying that it can't get resolved. In fact, I fully believe that it can. They have options. They're going to have reinforcements coming when JoJo Earl gets back. And, Tyler Harrell, what can I see at where he's at in his, development and how has he been able to grasp the playbook and things like that. But, yeah, I certainly think that there are options with Kobe Prentice and Isaiah Bond. That's a guy who I think, you look last week and it seems like his role increased where Kobe Prentice has maybe decreased a little bit. I don't know if that's something that they plan on, moving forward, but it seems like he's moving in the right direction, even though he didn't have any targets. But you've got, those guys. You got Trayshawn Holden. You got Jermaine Burton. I don't know what's going on with Jermaine Burton. I would say that if he was living up to the preseason expectations of him, we wouldn't really be having this conversation because we thought Alabama was going to rely on him early and often as they brought some of these other guys along. And Nick Saban talked about him being one of the most consistent players, definitely the most consistent receiver throughout the entire offseason. Got into the season, and in that first week, had 9 targets, didn't have a lot of yardage, but caught a couple of touchdowns. From that point forward, he just hadn't really, had the amount of success that maybe a lot of people were thinking that he would. So I don't know if that's just an adjustment period for him. I don't know if it's him and Bryce getting on the same page. They seem to be on the same page in week 1. I don't really know what's going on, but I do know that he's a very talented player. The coaching staff, there's a reason that Nick Saban was hyping him up as being this consistent, reliable playmaker throughout the offseason. I still think he's that guy. Just got to get him on track and get him comfortable.
Hanging out with Clint Lamb on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show from Innisfree down here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama and Vandy play at 6:30. It's hard to believe that this is the 85th game between these two teams. And it's been dominated, like most Alabama series, by the Crimson Tide, 62-18-4. Now, it's been since, 84, since Vanderbilt beat Alabama. But this is, I don't want to say rival, but this is definitely one of those teams that Alabama, when you stack every team up that they've played, that they've seen a lot over the years, Clint.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been times that Vanderbilt has given Alabama, some difficulty. Not really recently. I want to say that in the last two matchups, Vanderbilt hadn't scored a touchdown or scored any points for that matter. Don't think they've scored more than 10 points since probably the 90s. I'm trying to think of the last time they were able to score, 2 touchdowns, which is why, when I was going through the prediction side of things for BamaInsider on our staff predictions, I actually didn't think that Vanderbilt was going to score more than 10 points because when's the last time they've been able to? So, I will be curious to see how they try to utilize some of these guys. I will be curious to see what happens with the quarterback situation, going into the game today. But, yeah, it's certainly because Tuscaloosa and Nashville, they're not that far away, right? I'm from North Alabama, right up near the Tennessee state line. It's like an hour and a half. And, I've had this conversation with my dad. He's like, we should probably be Tennessee Titans fans because even though they're not in the same state as us, we're way closer to Nashville or way closer to an NFL franchise than, a ton of Jacksonville Jaguars fans that are in the state of Florida or Tampa Bay fans or, a lot of, just because you're not in the same state. It's very close. And then you only got a 2.5 hour drive to Tuscaloosa. So it's not that far. And there's some history there. Playing, close to 100 times. There's been a lot of games played over the last few years.
The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino. It's a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. Alabama and Vanderbilt. Does Vandy still belong in the SEC for football? Where's the money? We're going to talk about that right after this.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Celebrate the Tide's legacy of championships with Daniel A. Moore's latest creation, The Legacy Begins. A tribute to the 1926 Rose Bowl victory over Washington, putting Southern football on the map and establishing the unmatched legacy of Alabama's national titles. New Life Art is offering The Legacy Begins in a variety of formats that will fit any budget. Remember the Rose Bowl with these and other fine art gift items available now at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
Look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Floribama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Floribama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Floribama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Floribama.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Our remote today at Innisfree in Tuscaloosa is brought to you by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. It makes the tailgate, and there's so many different cool drinks you can make with it. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. Anytime you bring it to a tailgate party, everybody's really happy with you because it tastes good. Even Clint likes it. And you put, you can make a PB&J, right, with a little bit, just spray a little of that cranberry juice in there. And Trent Rogers, who is the owner of Innisfree, is going to join us in the fifth segment. We might make a little something. As you guys hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We're previewing Alabama and Vandy with Clint Lamb. You know him from his work on 3, Bama on 3, talking Alabama and Vanderbilt. All right, Clint, let me get to it right now. This is a controversial take by me, but does Vanderbilt still belong in the SEC? They don't invest in the football program. They're basically a speed bump for every team. They had to take one of the girls off the women's soccer team to kick for them a few years ago. It's kind of an embarrassing program right now. Where's all the money going? And do they even belong in the SEC with football changing and everything going on right now? You know, would it be better off letting them go somewhere like the ACC or, maybe the Ivy League or something and going and getting a better program football-wise? Or do you think they still fit the footprint?
I wouldn't necessarily say they fit the footprint. They're a founding member, a charter member, I guess is what you would call it. How much does that play, right? I mean, there's plenty of times where a band member and a famous band gets replaced because he's not getting the job done, right? So that's a tough question because I think that you nailed it as far as your take on the way that they don't invest in the program, because the SEC right now, it's so competitive and it's only getting more competitive. All you got to do is look at the coaching hires in this conference. You're talking about just from top to bottom. When you look, Brian Harsin is really the only one that you look at and say, I don't necessarily know if that's the right fit for the school, but everybody else seems to be putting a huge emphasis on making sure that they're spending the money and doing the things necessary to get a lot of high profile coaches, guys who they feel like can fit their program, can win at their program. Even a Mike Leach at Mississippi State. That's a guy who, he's not one of the best coaches in the country, but for a Mississippi State and the fact that he runs that kind of unorthodox passing offense, I think that really makes them, a lot more difficult on a, 1 week basis to prepare for them. It's very, and the reason I bring all that up is to say they're doing what they can. They're trying to approach things in a way where they can play winning football in this conference. Explain to me what Vanderbilt is doing to prove that. Or to at least put forth to show that they're putting forth the effort. I haven't really seen it. And if somebody can point out, hey, this is what they're doing behind the scenes, or, I'm all ears, I'm willing to listen. But with where this conference is heading, just because you're a founding member or a charter member, how far does that really go as far as, keeping you in the conference and kind of riding this wave wherever it takes them?
Yeah, and look, and part of that too is that you're charging people NFL prices for these games. And, Vanderbilt is one of the games on the schedule, and they're a joke. I mean, they're going to come to town, and they're going to be a 40-point underdog, and you wonder, where's the money going? You got a high school-looking stadium up there in one of the best cities in the country. I could argue that Nashville is the best city in the country. You have resources because you're getting all the money that all these other teams that are having success in the SEC playing football are getting. You're getting your equal share. Where's the money going?
Yeah, that's a great question. And with, you bring up kind of other programs carrying the workload with that. I mean, how much extra money has an Alabama and an Auburn and, an LSU and a Florida? How much more money have those programs made Vanderbilt because of their success in the field? And then you see them take that money. And I mean, the reason I'm not answering the question is because I can't answer the question. And you know that. I mean, you weren't asking, to elicit a response out of me. It's just, it's unfortunate because I do feel like that, Nashville would be a great place to have a program. Obviously, Vanderbilt's a very prestigious place, but just because you have the academic side of things, we've seen other programs in the past have runs where they've been very successful and been able to build, successful programs. Can they ever be an LSU or an Alabama or a Florida? No, it doesn't matter how much they invest in the program and things like that. It's just never going to happen for them on that scale. But they could be a lot more competitive than they've been. And that's what's kind of, I can't imagine being a Vanderbilt fan. I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, you're watching this, just understand that you can go in a very different direction as far as the way that the Alabama, the University of Alabama has handled, the program and Greg Byrne and just making sure that he's getting great hires. It doesn't matter the sport they're investing. At Vanderbilt, you can't say the same, and that's very unfortunate.
He's Clint Lamb. I'm Mick Gillispie. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Alabama and Vandy at 6:30. Well, Clint, let's turn our attention to Arkansas versus Texas A&M. And I say this because Alabama plays Arkansas next week at Arkansas. I think it's going to be a really tough physical football game for Alabama. Do you think Arkansas is better off having played Texas A&M this week to get ready for Alabama because of the level of competition? Or do you think it's better to play a team like a Vanderbilt and that kind of leads you into the next game? Is it better playing the tougher competition or maybe an easy win?
I think it depends on how you look at it, right? I think there's benefits and advantages to both because, from Alabama's perspective, you're able to continue to work on some things, tinker with some things. It's still early in the season. Everybody's still got some stuff they're trying to get figured out. I know Georgia looks perfect right now, but there's some issues there that they're trying to get worked out and see, and that could be just simply from a depth standpoint. It's not just with your starters, but hey, what are we going to do in the event of an injury or whatever? Everybody's working on stuff. So from that standpoint, it's beneficial. And from Arkansas's perspective, I do think that you can carry some momentum into this football game against Alabama next Saturday if you're able to get a victory. Now, granted, the physicality of it, because Texas A&M, especially defensively, they're a very physical football team, and it's going to be a physical game. And I just wonder, what kind of toll that will take on a program or a team like Arkansas. So, I mean, it all depends on how you look at it. Like I said, I don't think I can answer that from a definitive standpoint, like it's better one way or the other. I think there's advantages and disadvantages to both. But I do think that, regardless, and you look at Texas A&M, I mean, Alabama's next two opponents are playing in this game. It's not just Arkansas next week. It's A&M, the following week. So I think from an Alabama fan's perspective, you need to be paying attention to what's going on Saturday night, in that game as well, even though Alabama's going to be playing, during the same, time. So we'll see how it ends up playing out. But I do think that I would probably say it would be better to play a Vanderbilt style of team this week because I can't tell you how much of a physical toll playing in a game like that is going to have on Arkansas or Texas A&M. But, I mean, at the same time, Alabama could end up getting a little bit overconfident based off of what they put on the field tomorrow. They're not really the program that does that, but I'm saying if Arkansas were to play, a lesser opponent, maybe there's some things that they need to still be working on that they don't realize, and then it gets exploited against Alabama, and then you end up losing the football game that way. So advantages and disadvantages to both.
Hanging out with Clint Lamb as we talk to you from Innisfree on the Strip, getting you ready for Alabama and Vandy. All right, 2 quick questions before I have one really fun final question, so you got to hurry with these 2. But do you think that Bama used any practice time this week to get ready for Arkansas? And will we see a heavy dose of the run? And I know that is rat poison, Clint, so don't hold that against me.
Do I think that Alabama has certain analysts and people looking ahead to certain opponents? Yes. Do I think that Alabama is spending a ton of time, putting a focus on Arkansas? That's not really how Alabama's operated in the past. Because Vanderbilt, they're still an SEC team. They do have, what's so interesting to me is watching, AJ Swan and what he brings to the table compared to a guy like, Mike Wright, because there's 2 polar opposite players. So Alabama's already preparing. I guarantee you it is very possible with a true freshman coming in to an environment like Bryant-Denny Stadium. If Alabama has some success defensively, forces him into some mistakes, you could see a switch, I wouldn't say quickly, but, within, the first half, early second half, depending on how things are going, to a Mike Wright. And now you've got that dual threat ability. How much have you been practicing against that? I just think that Vanderbilt presents, with that dual quarterback thing they got going on, the way that they run their offense and operate their offense, I could see a lot of attention needing to be put on that. So them looking ahead, it's never really been Alabama's style too much, even though I do know they'd have guys, behind the scenes who are not on-field coaches putting some effort and building a game plan towards, future weeks. As far as seeing a heavy dose of the run, to me, I feel like this could be a get-right game for the passing game because, you got Arkansas next week. They're ranked out. I think they're ranked dead last in the country as far as pass defense. Vanderbilt's ranked outside of the top 100, and you get them at home. All these issues that you've had against against your first 3 opponents, if you can't get things right against Vanderbilt tomorrow as far as your passing attack, which has been a concern, what is going to convince people, or lead people to believe that you're going to be able to go on the road to Arkansas the following week and get those things corrected? So I think steps have to be made in this type of game to set Alabama up, for that game against Arkansas. And that's, that might be, you might look at that and say, hey, that means you're looking ahead. No, I mean, this is something that for the rest of the season, Alabama's got to get their passing game, right and correct. And I think that Vanderbilt, they're not a great run-stopping defense. I want to say they rank around, 75, 65, somewhere in there. But I think that the deficiencies on the back half of their defense is somewhere where Alabama can look and say, we can attack that. This would be a great opportunity to get Bryce Young some, more experience and allow him to build a little bit more chemistry with his receivers and then set him up for, this stretch that they're about to be going on in a few weeks or a couple weeks.
Great work, Clint Lamb, and we'll talk to you after the football game tomorrow.
Sounds good, man. It was great talking to you, Nick.
Yeah, man, and you need to come and do this show in person, hang out with us here at Innisfree or at Unique or Floribama or wherever we're doing it, man. It would be awesome to share a little time with you. Thank you, and roll tide, my friend.
Absolutely, man. I'll definitely have to do that. Good talking to you, brother. Talk to you tomorrow, I guess.
Talk to you tomorrow. Crimson Connection. Throw it up on the screen there. It's Daniel Moore's tribute in oils to Bryce Young's Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner. This full-color oil painting depicts Bryce's memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as Alabama dismantled Georgia in the 2021 SEC Championship game. NewLifeArt.com. We have one. We're giving it away, and it's actually signed by Bryce. We'll be giving that away Iron Bowl Saturday. Right now at New Life Art, buy one, get one on all unframed 8x10 collegiate classic prints. We're giving some of those away here as well at Innisfree. No code needed. That offer expires on the 25th. Like and subscribe as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, or if you're listening on radio. When we come back, we're going to talk to Thom Abraham about the Crimson Tide from Innisfree, Alabama and Vanderbilt. And we're going to have this preview show right up until game time for you, so don't go anywhere.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Alabama and Vanderbilt, 6:30 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Show is at Innisfree this week, and that's kind of our home away from home on the Strip in Tuscaloosa. We appreciate you being here with us. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show always brought to you by Yingling Lager, and our remote today is presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. Now, with that said, this segment is presented by Sevierville. Your Smokies start here.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
When Alabama plays Tennessee, we'll do the show live from Sevierville. Let me remind you, Sevierville has 4 different self-guided fall driving tours along the back roads and highlight historical points of interest and beautiful fall views. You can find maps and videos and more to make your plans at visitsevierville.com/fall. Well, it's always great to talk to Thom Abraham, my man, up in North Alabama, Huntsville, and points beyond into Tennessee, as a matter of fact. You guys know him from the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and that's one of the stations you hear our show on as well. What is going on, my brother? How you doing?
Man, I am fantastic. I'm waiting for this little break in the weather here now to sort of start to cool off a little bit and start to feel like fall weather next week in this Alabama, Tennessee region of the country. But I'm stoked for it. Very interested to see tonight if Vanderbilt has anything at all for Alabama and whether Alabama's peeking ahead just a little bit to that Arkansas game, to that trip to Arkansas, where I think we'll learn a heck of a lot more about the Tide. But, tonight it's all about Vanderbilt and taking care of business, and we'll see how they handle it.
What are your biggest concerns going into, I hate to say this game against Vanderbilt. I don't mean it in a way like Vanderbilt's going to come in and beat Alabama, but I mean it in a way moving forward after this game.
I think they need to get in there and start running the ball some and establish some tough guy football, because that's what they are going to need down the road. They're going to need it against Arkansas. They're going to need it against Tennessee, because you want to use your offense to keep the Tennessee offense off the field. So you want to use ball control and be able to do that. And you're going to need it to finish off some games late. So to me, what I'd like to see tonight is to see them be able to put their hand in the ground and be able to knock people off the ball and run the ball with authority and establish that kind of a game. Now, what the final score ends up, who knows? This is a 40-point line. Mick, I spent the week earlier trying to figure out how many times an SEC conference game had a line of 40 points or more in it, and we could only find 4 in the history of the SEC. The biggest was in 2019 when LSU had that incredible year. In 2019, they were 43.5-point favorites over Mississippi State at home. Or check that, over Arkansas at home. They were 43.5 points favorites. That's how bad Arkansas was just a few years ago. And how the worm has changed has turned there. There's only been 2 other instances, and it was Florida against Vanderbilt in 95 and Florida against Vanderbilt in 96, where there was a 40-point or more line. So it's weird. It feels like a cupcake game, but it is an SEC conference game,
Yeah, right. And I mean, it counts. I've been asking this question a lot during the week on the different shows on the BamaInsider YouTube channel, and I'd love to hear your take. Where's all the money going that Vanderbilt's getting to play SEC football?
You can't get, well, obviously, their athletic director back in the day was one of the highest paid athletic directors in the league. He was making $2.5 million. And Vanderbilt, they don't, I did Vanderbilt pregame for 4 or 5 years. I was on a Vanderbilt affiliate in Nashville for several years. And, it was during the James Franklin era. So during that time, he was really leaning on people to spend some money on the facilities. But, they're unlike anyone else in terms of their football department, if you will. It's a totally different, scenario. The problem is, when I first arrived in Nashville in 2007, the first thing I said is, why is Vanderbilt in this league? Vanderbilt feels like a Big Ten team. Vanderbilt feels like an ACC school. I could see them over there with Duke and Wake Forest and so on. Academically, they're like Northwestern. They should be in the Big Ten. The problem is Vanderbilt is a charter member of the SEC, and you're never going to get rid of that. And it's just the way it is. I don't know what the ceiling is there. I think James Franklin hit the ceiling there. I don't think you could ever do any more than that. My first year in Nashville, they had Alabama was playing at Vandy, and they had Vanderbilt season tickets, $129 for Vanderbilt season tickets. And they were all bought up by Alabama fans because they wanted to go to that game. And you could never sit any closer, at Bryant-Denny Stadium. You'd have to be in the lower bowl to be any closer than you are if you're at that little stadium in Nashville. So it is what it is. They are what they are, and they win us baseball championships for the SEC. So I guess we got that.
You think moving forward, though, maybe the SEC says, look, I mean, if you guys can't be competitive, if you don't have the resources, which we know they do because they're making the same money that all the other schools are making. But do you think there comes a point now that we're kind of moving towards this football monster that's going to be college football, where the SEC says, you know what? Why don't you guys go to the ACC and let's kind of slide somebody else in here that brings football value?
I don't think it'll ever happen. I just don't think it'll happen. The whole charter membership deal, I just don't see how they would ever get rid of them. They are, moderately competitive in other sports, and they could be. Look, they could be 4-4. They could be 5-3. James Franklin was 5-3 in the SEC. There's no reason why they can't be more competitive than they are. So we'll see. They're making a quarterback change there. I think that'll help them some. It was embarrassing to see them struggle with Northern Illinois. They weren't even favored against Northern Illinois, but they were able to go ahead and get that win. But there really is no reason under the right circumstance why they can't at least be a competitive program in the SEC.
He's Thom Abraham.
They beat Tennessee 3 years in a row, Mick.
Right, but that was with James Franklin. I agree. Look, it was with James Franklin, and they had a lot of momentum. And when he asked the university to invest in the program, they refused to do it, and he went off to Penn State. And then they're bringing a woman's soccer player on to kick extra points and field goals one year. I mean, like it's embarrassing and it's bad, and it's just really not up to the standards of the rest of the conference. And now that there's some really good schools that are in these other conferences that would love to get in and would love to invest and compete, Vanderbilt to me seems like a big time outlier. And then when you watch this game, it's a conference game, but it's a 40-point spread. Who wants to pay for that? Who wants to have that on your home ticket plan? To see you package that in with Utah State and ULM, and then now Vandy, and you've put together one of the worst starts to a home schedule that I can remember. So just the fan part of it is get these guys out of here. Let's bring somebody else in. I'd rather have West Virginia. I'd rather have Oklahoma State. There's so many other schools I'd rather have. Nashville's always going to be an SEC city, and that could be the argument too. And you've been there. It's like Atlanta. Georgia Tech's there, and no one even cares because they're not in the SEC.
I'd take Georgia Tech over Vanderbilt right now. I mean, if you wanted to swap a school like that and feel like you still have some sort of academic juice, I would take Georgia Tech. But again, it's bigger than just what happens on the football field. I do believe that Greg Sanker probably is in conversations with them on a regular basis to make sure that they are making the commitment that needs to be made. And they have a bunch of upgrades coming up there, at the stadium and so on. And so we'll see whether or not they can get it going.
He's Thom Abraham. You guys know him from 97.7 ESPN The Zone in North Alabama, Huntsville, and Points Beyond. And he joins us each week here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the bell so you know when we're live. And if you're listening on radio, roll tide, everybody. We're getting you ready for Alabama and Vanderbilt, the SEC opener for the Crimson Tide. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Andrew Bone. He's our recruiting expert. He's been on our show for, a decade now. I want your take, though. All the NIL, everything else going on, and another huge week for Nick Saban. Jordan Renaud, the big defensive end, coming to Alabama earlier this week. They get wide receiver Jalen Hale. So you're talking about two guys, 4 5-star talent guys coming to Tuscaloosa. And despite everything going on in the world, we have another number one recruiting class brewing down in Tuscaloosa.
I thought he had lost touch with the 18-year-olds. I thought that's what I was hearing when the one kid went to Georgia and said that Kirby Smart is more dialed in and more in tune, to the youngsters than is Nick Saban. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. This at age 70, this is where it hit the wall for Steve Spurrier. Tons of negative recruiting, tons of kids being told, look, that guy's not going to be there in your third or fourth year. And right now, you figure this is about the time where recruits get told that. Will Nick Saban be there by the time you graduate from Alabama? And it's a reach to say that. I don't know that he'll be there 4 years from now still. Certainly, he looks great and seems healthy. And he has contracts that go, well beyond that. But it's uncanny the way these kids continue to come there. And he continues to sell them on the idea that, there's NIL, but we're also going to help you in the NFL. 52 players right now in the NFL that are former Alabama players, the most of any school. And that's what all these kids are focused on. And he has got them convinced that by going to Alabama, that's your ticket to have your best shot to get to the NFL. So they continue to recruit great. I still believe in player development. I'm a big player development guy. You got to be able to coach them up. And and he continues to put staffs together with all this turnover. I mean, that's why we're so close to it. People say one of the greatest coaches, maybe the greatest coach. You got to take all those things out of it. This is the greatest college football coach in the history of college football, and it's just you're going to see it more and more as time goes on, and you reflect on it and say, he did what? And I think that's what we'll see.
You guys know him from the Tom Abraham Show, 10 to noon Central on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. And you know him from our show as well. You also know him from Bassmaster Radio, and he joins us each and every week. Let me remind you guys that this show is presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. You got the Elantra, you got the Sonata, you got the Tucson, and you can check them all out in Tuscaloosa right there on the corner of Skyland and Hargrove Road. When we come back, we're going to talk with Andrew Bone. We're going to dig deeper into the recruiting and what's next on that front, and we'll continue to get you ready for Alabama and Vandy on the Bama Insider Tailgate. Fathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, football is fine art. Now at newlifeart.com, see Daniel A. Moore's new 2021 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring 13 dynamic images of defining moments from the Saban era. As a special offer to listeners of this show, use coupon code ROLLTIDE for $5 off each calendar. To order yours, call 1-800-735-2787 or visit newlifeart.com today.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Floribama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Floribama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Floribama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Floribama.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, bringing you Crimson Tide coverage on BamaInsider.com, on the YouTube channel. We appreciate you being here. Or if you're listening on radio across the state of Alabama, roll tide, everybody. We get you ready for the Crimson Tide every game day. And we're previewing Vanderbilt and Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium, 6:30 kickoff as the Crimson Tide open up SEC play. Our show is brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Our good friend Barry Buckner and the crew over there on the corner of Hargrove and Skyland do a great job. Barry, big part of the show.
Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
All right, here he is, Andrew Bone. We talk recruiting with Bone every week, Alabama and Vanderbilt. Before we get into the big commitments that Alabama had, part of a huge week, let's talk about today's game, Alabama and Vanderbilt. Who will we or might we see at the stadium?
Yeah, I think most of these top recruits throughout the country are waiting for Alabama's next home game against the Texas A&M Aggies. We're going to see a lot of official visitors. We're going to see a lot of kids from all across the country in Tuscaloosa for that weekend. But there's still going to be some guys in town today, and that's going to include 2 5-stars, Quay Russo and James Smith out of Carver High School in Montgomery. Quay, being one of the best linebackers in the country, 5-star recruit, and then James being one of the top defensive tackles also in the country. So big weekend for those guys, and they wanted to visit this weekend rather than coming in for the A&M. They still might come for A&M, but they also wanted an opportunity to come to Tuscaloosa where there's not as many recruits. They get a little bit more face time with the Alabama coaching staff. So we knew that they were going to come in for not necessarily a smaller game, but maybe not as crazy of an atmosphere as it's going to be for the Texas A&M game. So big 2 visits there. Bryce Thornton, safety out of Georgia, is also going to be visiting. He's going to be making his announcement next month in October. Really, it's between Alabama and Florida. Those have been the top 2 schools. I think the biggest question right now is if Alabama will take another safety. Now, they have a great safety class right now with Caleb Downs, the top safety in the country. Tony Mitchell, number 3 safety in the country, also a 5-star recruit. And then Brayson Hubbard out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So you have 3 safeties currently committed to the Crimson Tide. So will they take a 4th? We'll just have to wait and see. I know they like Bryce a lot. Visited a couple times during the spring, received an offer back during junior day. Camped at Alabama in early June, and the staff was very impressed with his performance. So, as of right now, I think Florida's in a pretty good position with him, based on Alabama's overall DB numbers. But we'll see how the weekend goes with Bryce Thornton this weekend. They were originally supposed to have Bay Jobe, a edge rusher who's currently committed to Michigan State. He was going to come in town for an official visit, but he is no longer going to be visiting the Crimson Tide this weekend. So those are kind of the main guys. We're going to see some other commitments who are going to be in Tuscaloosa as well. But as far as uncommitted guys, those are sort of the big names that we're going to see in Tuscaloosa today. 2
big commitments this week, Bone.
Yeah, absolutely. You had a couple of big targets a couple of big commitments from the state of Texas. Jump on board with the Crimson Tide. It started with Jordan Renaud, the edge rusher out of Legacy High School in Tyler, Texas, originally from South Florida, but moved to Texas a few years ago. This is a kid who's been to Alabama several times. former teammate. Jamarion Miller is a Alabama freshman running back, and we kind of knew heading into to his commitment over the course of the last few weeks that Alabama was in a really good position with him. They've recruited him as a defensive end. Now he's a little undersized compared to the defensive ends that we've seen Alabama recruit. Guys who are in that 275, 280 pound range. He's only 245 pounds right now, but Alabama believes they can put the weight on him. He can grow. He can develop. And, they certainly believe that he's going to end up being a defensive end in Tuscaloosa. There's some other, great defensive linemen that we've seen at Alabama who've come in, in the 250, 255 range, who've gotten up to, over 300 pounds. That includes Jonathan Allen, Quentin Williams, two studs in the NFL right now. So I'm not really concerned about the weight right there. I think Renaud will certainly put on the pounds, and he'll probably get up to 275, 280 pounds over the course of the next couple of years. A big win over the Oklahoma Sooners for Jordan Renaud. And then on Wednesday, Jalen Hill, one of the top 100 one of the top 100 overall players in the country, one of the best wide receivers committed to Alabama over the Texas Longhorns. Now, Texas A&M, Georgia, they were also strongly in the mix, but really, I would say on Monday of this week, it was pretty much 50-50. Nobody was really sure what he was going to do. It was Alabama, Texas. Of course, you look at the predictions, everything started rolling in late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning in favor of Alabama. So everything started to shift in Alabama's direction before the announcement. But, he was pretty torn. I mean, this is a kid who is a Texas kid, Longview High School in Texas, one of the top high school football programs in the state, was considered a very strong lean to Texas throughout his recruitment. Took a late July visit to Alabama, and really ever since that visit, things moved in favor of Alabama. Took that official visit to Alabama in early September. One thing about his visit, he really hit it off with Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, former Alabama wide receiver, first-round draft pick by the Detroit Lions this past spring, FaceTimed with Jalen during his unofficial visit in July, and then was back in Tuscaloosa for his official visit weekend. The two really connected and have spoken quite often, really ever since then. So really good connection there with Jalen Hill and J-Mo. But in the end, he felt like Alabama wide receiver U and wanted to be a part of that tradition. So two big pickups this week from the state of Texas for the Crimson Tide.
Bone, your appearance is always brought to you by Andrew J. Bone Realty. Don't call and ask how many guys Alabama has left, because we know the answer is 7. Jay Barker told us that you said that on his show, so we know that. But what we don't know is how to get in touch with you when we're trying to buy a home.
Absolutely. Well, if you're looking in the Birmingham or Tuscaloosa markets, please be sure to call us. Andrew J. Bone Real Estate Group. You can reach us at 205-531-5577. And they, just for reference, that is not my phone number. So you can't text, you can't call and expect me to answer the phone. Now, I'll show you a house. You call that number, they'll set you up with me, and I'll show you a house. But as far as any recruiting knowledge, person who answers that phone is not going to have any. So, but like I said, if you're looking to purchase or sell your home, purchase a condo, rent a place, call us today. We'll be more than happy to help you. Like I said, we are in the Tuscaloosa and Birmingham markets, and we are always staying pretty busy and happy to help.
Yeah, Bone does a great job. Guys, let me remind you, too, that the show is presented by OWA. By land, thrilled to more than 20 theme park rides, from signature roller coasters to Majestic Mountain. You got by water, a climate-controlled tropical paradise beneath 1,800 glass panels, an indoor water park of epic proportions. It's the ultimate combination of thrill and chill, all behind one gate. One ticket is your passport to the tropics. Tropic Falls, from roller coaster thrills to the lazy river, sublime tropical chill. Visit OWA.com. And we're going to give 2 tickets away to OWA next time we're at Floribama for a road game. Bone's got kids. He loves amusement rides and all that stuff. So Please do us a favor, do yourself a favor, check it out. It's only 7 miles from the beach. And so when we're at Floribama, we're right there by OWA. We'll take a break. And when we come back, the second hour of the show, Alabama and Vanderbilt, they play at 6:30, and we're previewing it for you right here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate, catheaddistillery.com.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We are hanging out with you, getting you ready for Vanderbilt and Alabama at Innisfree on the Strip. The Crimson Tide take on Vandy at 6:30, and we appreciate you guys all being here. Let me remind you that our show is always brought to you by Yingling Lager. We got the cold Yinglings here at Innisfree, and this remote is presented by Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. And I as I say that, let me bring on my next guest. Trip from Innisfree. What's up, brother? We're going to talk. What's up? Let me turn your mic up here.
That would help.
There you go. How's it going, dude?
Fantastic.
Welcome to the show.
Another Friday home game weekend. It's fantastic.
Well, look, let me say this first. We got a screwball shot. I want you to hold that for a second. Let me remind you that Barry Buckner and his staff have an award-winning service department over there at Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Next time you're in the market for a car, Skyland and Hargrove, find out for yourself. Barry's a great dude, and he's actually come in here and hung out with us before and jumped on the show. We got to get him out here again really soon. So, all right, Trip, before we get into anything fun, talking about, this shot, what's life like as a guy that owns a bar?
Oh, heck, it's a whirlwind. This is our 25th football season.
Wow.
So it's we've seen a lot. Like I tell everybody, I started with a full head of hair, and you see where I've gotten to. So, but no, man, it's a fun time, man. We have great fans and great customers that come in here, and we have a great staff that works here, and everybody has a good time when they walk through the door. And that's what we care about.
Guys, as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's how you say Roll Tide. Hit the bell so you know we're live. As we talk with Trip here at Innisfree, you know what? You're an Alabama grad too, and then I was telling Chris, our producer, that this bar actually started where the Gray Lady is.
It did.
I think I've told you this before, but I had my truck serviced here one time when it was a service station. They were supposed to fix the air condition, and they didn't get fixed. So this is a much better thing for this place.
You'll get a lot of things fixed here, so that's good.
Now that it's a bar, right? Did you ever think that when you were in college you'd be doing this?
No, not at all. You go to college for communications, and then you end up in the bar business.
Yeah, well, I went to college for political science and communications. So, how cool was it when the Morgan Wallen Saturday Night Live, video, I guess, skit came out? That was so Morgan Wallen came to town, I guess during COVID or whatever. Well, SNL had him on there, and he did a skit, but it took place at Innisfree.
It did. I'll run it back quick for everybody. He came here, and me being me, I had no idea who he was during the day. He came down with Justin Thomas from Nashville, and I'm talking with Justin, and this girl comes up and goes, "Hey, do you mind taking a picture?" And Justin and I, Justin was like, "No, not at all." She handed Justin the camera to take a picture of her and Morgan Wallen. Had no idea who Justin was, the number one golfer in the world at the time, and no idea. And I was like, "Who is that guy?" He's like, "Oh, he's a country music singer." And I'm like, "Okay." And as the night progressed, I guess he had a few more shots after he left here, and it turned into a great story, I guess. Everything worked out good, which was fantastic. And he was supposed to be on Saturday Night Live that week, and they postponed it. And so when he went on, they showed the front of Innisfree, and I didn't know people still watch Saturday Night Live like they do. And my phone blew up, and I'm like, my first thought is like, what's going on at the bar? Because I was out of town at the time.
Something bad happened.
And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, Innisfree was just on Saturday Night Live. And I'm like, what? And someone sent me the video, and man, it was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It's cool getting, national notoriety like that. So
you've turned Innisfree into an iconic bar, which is really cool.
Man, I don't know about that. I guess people know us in Tuscaloosa. I mean, hope they know us outside of Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, well, Birmingham.
So in Birmingham. So
what are game days like here?
Oh man, it's always fun. I mean, we get new people that come in every home game. We get people that come in for over and over. Since we've been at the new location and at the old location. No one that comes in nowadays even know the old location was even there. So that's kind of fun to talk about. But, we have a great crowd, we get so many out-of-state kids now, and they come in, and we've got stuff up from, a bunch of different states. And so people feel welcome when they come here from out of state. When I came here from Washington, D.C. in 1990, people didn't know where Washington, D.C. was.
Wow.
And I was an outsider, so it's come full circle, and it's great. Alabama's come a long way, and it's awesome.
He's Tripp from Innisfree. We're hanging out with him here doing the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. All right, let's talk football. You go to a ton of games, man. I mean, like, you're on the road with the team. You have your ear to the ground. What do you think about Alabama right now as they get to take on Vandy, and then the schedule after this? They're all hard games.
If you read the news and listened to everybody before the season, it was like, oh, we got a cakewalk. We're favored by 20 points in every game this year. And it's, so I was like, great, we're not going to have good crowds and all this. After we went to Austin, I sat in that heat and sweated the whole day, for an 11 o'clock kickoff. I was like, this season's going to be a little bit longer than people think. And, it's like this team, we got a lot of young guys and some new faces, and they just haven't gelled yet, and we've been here before, and we've been through seasons like this, and it takes us 3 or 4 games to gel. And like I tell people, it's usually like that game against Arkansas next week against Arkansas is like the game that defines the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. We usually come together at that game, and like the rest of the season, we pound all season long. And, so like, it'll be interesting. We do have a long way to go, but it'll be fun. That's what we do.
A lot's changed since you were an undergrad here, football-wise. I mean, we used to think, hey, 10 wins was a great season. Now it's like, every Alabama fan always wants to win a national championship, but we've gotten spoiled.
We have. Well, we got spoiled when I was here, and I came, and Coach Stallings came in 1990 when I got here, and so we had a good run with Coach, and and that was when we were driving to Birmingham every Saturday.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
Getting on buses at 8:30 in the morning. These kids in college now have no idea, which is funny. But it's great. You can't – there won't be another team like Alabama maybe ever in college football. I know everyone says that, but, heck, this is the second time we've done it. Coach Brian did it, and now, Coach Saban's done it, and it's awesome. And – you almost like, is it gonna end? Why will it end? Is it gonna end? When will the end be? But it's fun, and going into this year, we were like, man, this is gonna be, we're gonna all go back to LA and have a great reunion. But now we're actually, we got to work for it.
I think this is one of the toughest road schedules Alabama's had. I don't go back as far as you, but I go into the 90s.
This is a tough one. It's, you start off with Texas on the road, and everyone thinks Texas is down. And, hey, listen, they got athletes on that team better than 90% of the teams out there. They might be young, but they're athletes out of Texas. Thank God we get athletes out of Texas, or we wouldn't have the teams we have.
Right.
So it's, and we're going to get every team's best game. There won't be a team that has a letdown against us. So that's, a lot of teams don't face that. There's a handful in college football that face that every weekend, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, right. All right, so Bama versus Vandy, your thoughts on today's game?
The last time we played Vanderbilt was in Nashville, and it was, I think we scored
59 zip.
59 zip, and that was a hot game too. I was there.
Where do you hang out when you're there? What are the bars you go to up in Nashville?
I was just talking about it earlier with a buddy of mine from Nashville. I haven't been to Nashville since
Winners
before
or
COVID.
Losers?
I've been to Winners and Losers a lot, a bunch.
We went.
It's always a constant good time.
Yeah.
Always Broadway.
Yeah, right on.
But Vandy's, they're starting to get good athletes. And they're a good team, but I think, hopefully over these last 3 games we've starting to get a little bit more rhythm going that we haven't had yet this year. And so hopefully we can step up tomorrow and put this thing to rest early, by halftime. Hopefully, we'll see. But it's still an SEC game. Like I tell everybody, you got to play 60 minutes. I don't care.
All right, well, let's do this shot of Screwball. And look at you're on for the people that are watching on
cheers.
YouTube. You're on there. Look at that.
Check out rmft.com and get some new gear. We got some new logos coming out in a couple weeks.
Hey, yeah. Well, hook Chris and I up.
Oh, definitely.
Right now. I need a new hat. I need one of those hats. All right, well, roll tide.
Cheers, roll tide.
Roll tide. Woo. I love that peanut butter finish. You got to admit, that's good.
It's good.
All right, well, let me tell you guys something right now. as you hang out with us here on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Visit Tuscaloosa. You can come by. You can come by right here at Innisfree. We've got the farmers market that takes place every Saturday at the River Market from 7 a.m. to noon. You got the Civil Rights Trail, which is really awesome. It's self-guided. It's a tour that has 18 stops around Tuscaloosa, and it goes throughout the state. So Tuscaloosa is part of that. You got the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater, all the big concerts, including Government Mule that was here last night.
They played last night.
Everybody's talking about it, still buzzing around. Druid City Music Hall. Everything that you need to know, visit Tuscaloosa.com. Trip, awesome hanging out, brother.
I mean, I appreciate it, Mick.
All right, roll tide. When we come back, we're going to talk to our man out in Vegas, Kenny White, and we're going to pick a few games. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show brought to you by Yingling. I'll be right back.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Celebrate the Tide's legacy of championships with Daniel A. Moore's latest creation, The Legacy Begins. A tribute to the 1926 Rose Bowl victory over Washington, putting Southern football on the map and establishing the unmatched legacy of Alabama's national titles. New Life Art is offering The Legacy Begins in a variety of formats that will fit any budget. Remember the Rose Bowl with these and other fine art gift items available now at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
Look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made All-State if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Floribama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Floribama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Floribama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Floribama.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Alabama and Vanderbilt. It's a 6:30 game. We're previewing it right here as we get you ready across the state of Alabama on our radio network. And, of course, as you watch on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We do this before every Crimson Tide football game. Before we get to the Wizard of Odds from all the way out in Vegas, let me remind you that this portion of the show is presented by Pearl River Resort and the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. It's Vegas, a little chip of Vegas, like where Kenny lives in Mississippi, and it's not too far from Tuscaloosa.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made Allstate if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays, you'll be making the bets, and finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
I love that commercial, Kenny. There he is from out in Vegas. Kenny White, the Wizard of Odds. You know him, too, from the Kenny White Power Ratings. But you got to love that commercial. It's pretty funny. The guys, at the sports book, they're all hanging out. They've got 5 kiosks. They've got 10 terminals. They've got 3 retail stations. They got all the TVs. And right now, if you go to Pearl River and you bet $50 at the sports book, you can play Dancing Rabbit for $30. You and I are going to have to do that, Kenny. What's up, man? How you been?
Doing well. Yeah, it's been a fun week. And football, I can't believe we're already in week 4 of college and week 3 of the NFL. So it just flies by every week.
Well, you cover it all. So do I. I'm broadcasting baseball, and you're helping handicap it. And you got football, college, and the NFL and everything else going on right now. But let's stick to college. Always love having you on and talking about the games. And let's pull up game number 1. And at the end of the show, I'll let you guys know how you can get Kenny's picks. But these 3 games we're going to touch on today. And here's a really good one. It's Arkansas. It's Texas A&M. They're playing each other at AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
It should be a great game. Sam Pittman, he can run for governor of Arkansas now, what he's done there. And the turnaround for the Razorbacks has been sensational. Their quarterback, KJ Jefferson, has been great. Jimbo Fisher, we know the talent he has brought in to College Station. The recruiting rankings have been, number 1 the last couple of years. But they've struggled offensively. We've seen Max Johnson replace Haynes King last week, but still this offense right now ranked 71st in college football. Their defense is number 3. So for those 2 stats right there alone, I'm going under in this football game. I found a 49.5. It's 48.5 still. Now, Arkansas, for as good as they've been, they like to run the ball 64% of the time. They do play fast, but that run game controls a lot of clock. On the other side, Jimbo Fisher's team plays slow. They just haven't had the run game like they've wanted to. They run it 52% of the time. I think he'd like to run it closer to 60% of the time if they can be successful. So this is a big, big game. I'm going under.
Yeah, look, and I'm going to jump in on this too. Through 3 games, the Aggies offense has been terrible. They're on their second quarterback. We'll see if Max Johnson can get the job done, transfer from LSU. They had 264 yards against Miami, and they were 4 of 12 on 3rd down, but they did win the football game. Arkansas is going to want to go in there and punch Texas A&M in the mouth with their run game. They're 10th nationally right now, 243-plus yards per game on the ground, and they've got Raheem Sanders and KJ Jefferson, the quarterback, running the football. Jefferson's really tough. 6 of the team's 8 touchdowns he scored. Arkansas also on defense is getting after the quarterback. And one of those guys, Drew Sanders, used to play for Alabama. They're averaging 5.7 sacks per game. That's number 1. And then Sanders is 2nd in the SEC and 4th nationally with 440 yards total rushing. It's hard to take Texas A&M, even though they've recruited way better and they should win this football game. I just feel like Arkansas is the better team.
Yeah, they've looked better. There's no doubt, and that's because the struggles by Texas A&M on their offense. But last week they showed up. Everybody that I talked to, including myself, liked Miami of Florida. But but the Texas A&M defense shined, and I think that's what has to happen here. They've got to really come to play and stop the run game, be ready for Sanders and Jefferson, and I believe they will, because this defense is the real deal, and that's why I think this is going to be a lower scoring football game.
Yeah, love the under in this game. All right, second game we're going to talk about. Wisconsin is at Ohio Stadium. They'll play Ohio State. The Buckeyes 18.5 right now. The favorite is the home team.
Yeah, Mick, when I made this line, I made Ohio State 21, and I thought, whoa, something's wrong. I made a mistake somewhere in the power ratings, in the calculations. One of the equations is wrong. Maybe the stat went in wrong. I went back, looked through my model and everything, and I said, well, beginning power ratings had this game right around 21. It is amazing how much better Ohio State is than Wisconsin right now, and that's, I guess it's equal to Alabama and Auburn. How much better is Alabama than Auburn? Well, that would probably be the same thing, about a 21-point spread. But Ohio State right now, I'm not going to lay the points. I just can't lay that many points against a solid coach team in Wisconsin. But I'm going to go over the total, 57 points. Seems, it's an average for a college football game. When you have the number one offense in the country in Ohio State with C.J. Stroud and his group, they're going to put up points. And they're the team that plays fast. They're the team that throws the football. Wisconsin loves to run it. They play slow. I really believe that Ohio State's going to take Wisconsin out of their game, going to force Graham Mertz to push the ball downfield, play a little faster and throw, and that helps this game get over the total. The blowout helps the game get over the total.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on this. Stroud, 941 yards so far this season. Marvin Harrison Jr. has 342 yards and 5 touchdowns. Williams, 207 yards on the ground. Ohio State leads this series. They've dominated Wisconsin 61-18-5 over the years. Last time they played was the 2019 Big Ten championship game, and Ohio State won that one 34-21. I thought that was a much better Wisconsin team. I think Ohio State's going to blow them out. Wisconsin's just, they need to come to age with the way that football is played these days, because their offense, if they fall behind, it's impossible for them to get up and move forward. They're like a turtle that falls on its back. Once it's on its back, it's hard to get those things back up again. And, that kind of feels like what we're going to see when those two teams play today. All right, let's move to the next one. And it's USC against Oregon State. This is kind of a surprise, sneaky good game. 6.5, Oregon State. Both teams are undefeated right now.
Yeah, this is a really good football game. And I see the number come down even a little bit more, Mick. I'm seeing 5.5. A lot of money for Oregon State right now. And I agree with the point move. I did take 7. I took 7 myself in the game. Jonathan Smith, head coach for Oregon State, one of the most unheralded guys in the country, I think. He knows really how to coach. He knows how to teach. He's a great communicator, great recruiter. So they brought in players. Their quarterback, Chance Nolan, I thought 3 years ago was going to be the guy. He was the junior college player of the year out of California, which is, that's a pretty good honor to be in the junior college player of the year. And he went to Oregon State and didn't start. He didn't start last year. He got a lot of playing time last year. And he did get some starts, but this year he's the true starter, and he's having a great year. 9.9 yards a pass, 7 touchdowns, 2 INTs. This is a good all-around team. Their offense is a little better than their defense, and that's same thing as USC. Their offense is far better than their defense. I've got USC's D ranked number 45 in the country. Their offense number 3. But this is playing on the road. I see a little bit of, I'm kind of a flashback from Pete Carroll's years, where when they first started to be good and they got a little cocky, and then when they went out on the road, and I think it was might have been Oregon or Oregon State, and you turn the TV on and watched, you were just like, wow, they are pretty cocky. Well, they got beat pretty good that day. And I kind of think this group of USC Trojans may be a little bit full of themselves right now, and they might be up against the Oregon State Beavers this week.
Wow, calling them out a little bit. But look, I'm a believer in USC. So, I'm on the total opposite side of this, but maybe I'm wrong. But I look at athletes, and I look at playmakers. And I'm going to start with Caleb Williams, who was the transfer from Oklahoma. He was the starting quarterback there. He fled to the West Coast with Riley Lincoln, right? They both left for USC. And this guy, sophomore, 74% passing, 64 of 86, 874 yards, 8 touchdowns. I mean, he's doing it on the ground. He's ran it 27 times for 73 yards. Caleb Williams is really been exactly what they needed. Someone to just step in and be the guy at quarterback. But then you got Travis Dye. Look at him, former Oregon running back who had 3,000 and 1,100 yards and 21 touchdowns. He also caught 83 passes and had 8 touchdowns, right? Now he's the running back for USC. All the NIL money. Everybody's going to the West Coast to USC. And he leads the team, 227 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. And I'm not even talking about the best player on the offense. The best player on the offense is Jordan Addison. He was with Pitt last year, the Biletnikoff winner, the nation's #1 wide receiver. He's got 18 catches for 300 yards, about 5 touchdowns. Last year, the guy had 100 catches for almost 1,600 yards, right? 17 touchdowns. So I just feel like Oregon State has had a good go for this, a good role to start this season. But I think that this USC team is just different than the rest of these teams out on the West Coast. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out today.
Yeah, we definitely will. Jonathan Smith, I'm telling you, watch this guy coach. He'll have his team in this game. And I would not disagree with the talent. USC has the talent. They have the better football team. They should be the favorite in this game, but they are playing on the road, hostile environment, Pac-12 game. Oregon State's 3-0. We're both teams 3-0. Both teams beat Fresno. Oregon State beat them on the road. USC beat them at home, but they were fortunate. Fresno lost their starting quarterback midway through that football game, where that could have been a different game. You lose a guy like Jake Haener. That's a big loss. That was a 6-point drop off in their power rating. So a little fortunate there, but it's going to be a battle. And I respect your opinion on SC because I know they have talent. You pointed out Jordan Addison, Biletnikoff winner. He's one of the best wide receivers in football, and Williams is having a great year. But Oregon State will be ready, and they'll be flying around. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
And Oregon State's always good for an upset. Ask Oregon, ask USC in the past. They're a team you got to pay attention to, but I really feel like USC is locked and loaded, and we'll find out later today. Let's also find out how people can get the Kenny White Power ratings.
Yeah, very, very good, Mick. Thanks for having me on the show today. KennyWhiteSports.com. My power ratings are available. It's $20, but $19.99 a month. You get the college power ratings updated each Monday. They're updated, or late Sunday, I guess. Sunday I update them from the previous Saturday. And then I do all the projected final scores from the games that haven't been played yet. So you get all those scores. So you got my projections, what's going to happen next week, the week after that, every week for the entire season. The NFL's included. Major League Baseball. When NBA starts, you get those ratings. With college basketball, NHL, all of them, it's same price, $20. Or you can join the MVP club that's $150 a month. That gets you at least 4 to 5 plays every single day, from one play for myself and all the other handicappers on my website. It's been a very successful club. You get the power ratings also involved if you're in the VIP club. So dual package there.
Always great hanging out with Kenny. Kenny, next time you're on the on the East Coast, in the South, you need to come by to the Floribama. And I know you travel and you love to get out. Well, the Floribama right there on the line between Alabama and Florida is our home when the show is on the road. When Bama's on the road, that's where we go. We go and hang out where they have live music daily on 3 stages. It's open from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. Free bingo Monday to Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. You got the Bushwhackers. You got tons of TV for college football. The Floribama, the Beach Club, the Yacht Club, all awesome places to hang out when you're down on the coast.
Well, I have to try to take you up on that sometime. You know how busy a season it is, but I would love to do it. Yeah, I do love to travel, that's for sure.
He's our man out in Vegas. When we come back, we're going to talk Alabama and Vandy, Baron Huber, maybe Trip Rogers. Going to be a fun end of the show. Don't go anywhere. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show is coming right
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip, the best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, or the newest location in Northport in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Now 2 awesome locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. R&R Cigar is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar in Yingling for $10 when you tell them Mick sent you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi. Founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give the taste of the South with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead Vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
There's a new place where thrill meets chill, where the fun is always tropical cool, inside and out. The park at OWA is now Tropic Falls Theme Park, joined by the all-new indoor water park now open. Come to OWA and experience Tropic Falls. It's like nothing you've ever seen, with 23 theme park rides and 11 new indoor water park slides, complete with lazy river and arcade. All at Tropic Falls, only at OWA Parks and Resort. Buy your tickets online and save at visitowa.com.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines 2 of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Welcome back to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Hanging out with you at Innisfree on the Strip in Tuscaloosa, getting you ready for Alabama and Vanderbilt at 6:30. Let me remind you guys that this segment is brought to you by one of my favorite places in Tuscaloosa, R&R Cigar. They invite you to come down to the Cigar Mansion and their newest location in Northport. The mansion's in downtown Tuscaloosa, 2 locations serving Tuscaloosa and Northport. It's the best cigar selection and bourbon selection in the Southeast. R&R is also your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. That's 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, right near the Home to Suites. TheCigarMansion.com, serving 2 locations now, Tuscaloosa and Northport. Go by there and tell Reagan that Mick sent you. Tell him that Barron sent you, our next guest here on the show. Guys, like and subscribe as you hang out with us on the Bama Insider YouTube channel previewing this football game. And here he is, back again from the 2009 Alabama football national champions, Baron Huber, our good buddy, the guy that actually started this show. So it's not like you're just some football player.
Yeah, we're starting to make this a habit now. Huh?
I love having you back, brother. I mean, like, this is, for those of you that are watching, you don't realize, like, this was 2 of the 4.
That's
of the
it,
4
man.
horsemen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, it was a thought and then an idea and then an action. And to see the show still going is always good to see. And, of course, we're at the prime spot here in Tuscaloosa, I would say. I don't know if there's a better place I'd want to be at this point. At Innisfree?
Yeah, look, Innisfree's great, man. I mean, like, Tripp, we had him on a couple minutes ago kind of talking about everything that, goes on here. And this part's become iconic. I mean, we kind of already got into that tonight, but it has. I mean, like, the guy's done a great job, and it's really fun to be associated with.
It's almost become synonymous with Tuscaloosa, right? I mean, when you think about coming here, you come to Innisfree, and it's cool because all the people that you run into, when you leave college, then you come back, and it's fun to see everybody kind of unconstructed meet here again. And I'll always enjoy coming here on a game day and catching up with old friends.
Well, Baron, what are you looking for today from Alabama?
Kind of like I said last week, you look at body language. I mean, you're a 40-point favorite, depending on where you're looking. So, you got to go through and although Coach probably wouldn't appreciate it, you're probably not going to lose tomorrow.
You
right?
guys didn't have many of those games back in the day.
No, hell, we had to, fight and claw for wins against Vanderbilt at that time. But, I look at body language again. I look at a sense of urgency. Do you want to be here? I look back to last week when was it Malachi Moore that ran the punt back at the end of the game in the 14th? Right?
Yep.
What's that? Branch. Yeah, Branch. You look how excited the sideline was for that guy to score. I mean, we're up by at that point 40-something points. That's the makings of a team that cares to me, and a team that cares for each other. And I think you have to have both of those things to go the distance. So when you look at today's game, it's really about can you have the maturity to look at a 40-point opponent and go out and still execute at a high level and want to be there. And that's it's people say half the battle showing up. I think the other half nowadays is actually wanting to be here. It's not just showing up. And I think it'll be interesting to see if we can do both those things.
Guys, hit the like and subscribe button. Be part of the Bama Insider YouTube channel. We're hanging out with Baron Huber, played on the 09 team. If you're in the comment section on YouTube, throw us a comment and, or a question. If you have a question for Baron, we'll get to it. If you're listening on radio across the state of Alabama, roll Tide, everybody, as Alabama and Vanderbilt play at 6:30 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. What you talk about, kind of what you're looking for today, but what are the biggest steps that this team needs to make against Vanderbilt going into what's going to be a really difficult schedule?
Well, the offensive line has to dominate more, and I think we want to see more of a gritty performance, right? Offensive line's a tough position because there's 5 different positions up there that really all have to work with one another. So it's really 5 spots that work as one position. And for me to see the offensive line understand, what's asked of them on that particular play, be able to get up to the line, communicate it, and then actually go run it at a high level is going to be really important. And then I think you just want to see overall physicality, right? Mm-hmm. This game is a physical game, and you gotta have a mental. It's a war in your head.
Right. Mental.
I mean, every time you hit somebody, it hurts.
Yeah.
Period. And if it doesn't hurt then, it's going to hurt later.
Right.
So you got to carry an edge to you. Mm-hmm. And can you carry that edge when it's a dull opponent?
How did you deal with that back when you played? The physical part of the game.
For me, that was the easiest part. That's what I enjoyed. And to me, that was football. The physicality. I enjoyed the pain in a lot of ways, in a sick way, I guess I would say it. But being a fullback, you got to be a little bit of a dumbass to do it to begin with. So that probably explains a lot. But For me, I always took it as an opportunity I enjoyed hitting someone else other than my teammates. We practice here at the University of Alabama. We practice hard, and we practice hard against each other, and that's one of the few things that I would say one of the few things, one of the many things that we do that others don't. When we practice good versus good, 1 versus 1s.
Do you think that's what makes Alabama so tough in the big games?
I do. I mean, you look at the NFL right now, and every week there's injuries, and it's all this kind of like knick-knack stuff. I think some of it, the game has gotten a little bit softer, and I think the players gotten softer because of it. But I also think when you're not training at full speed and then you go full speed, your body's going to throw up a red flag.
Right.
It's like, hey, I can't do this. It's not what I'm accustomed to. So anybody that's ever been sitting at home that went 2 or 3 years without going to the gym, and then you go in there and you try to lift like you did when you were, in shape, hell, your body,
it'll let you know. Right.
Yeah, it'll let you know. And I think you're seeing that in the NFL because I think it's a softer game. I think the rules make it a softer game. I think the money makes it a softer game. And you see more of those, what I call knick-knack injuries in that sport than you do in college.
Right. He's Baron Huber, played on the 2009 Alabama National Championship game, hanging out with you here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel and across Radio Land, getting you set for Alabama and Vanderbilt on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Is Georgia unstoppable? Kirby Smart was Alabama's defensive coordinator when you played. Now he's the coach at Georgia, and now Georgia's the reigning national champions, and they're killing everybody they played. Have they passed Alabama? Are they the top dog in the SEC?
Hell, man, I think it's a good question to ask. Probably a little too early to tell for them, just like it's a little too early to tell for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how good Oregon is. I think Texas is going to be good by the end of the year. I think they'll finish better than what Oregon's going to finish.
Yeah.
So when you look at our two games head-to-head on who was worth a damn, I think our team's Texas will outperform Oregon at the end. One thing that I would say is impressive about Georgia is they've come to play, it looks like, and they've still played that physical style of ball. And what they've had 2 shutouts, 1 shutout.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought it. Now we have 2. We shut out our first opponent. Last week Monroe scored 7 points. And I think the biggest compliment that's never been given to our team is the fact that we held Texas to 19 points.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so Georgia hasn't played a 4-quarter game yet. We have. So it's going to be interesting to see when they get, a live bullet shot at them. What are they going to do for 4 quarters? And I think it's going to come to them. I think the East is a lot stronger than we all thought in the beginning of the year with Tennessee, Kentucky. I still think Florida is a worthy opponent, and I like South Carolina at some point this year to beat somebody that they're not supposed
to. Right?
Yeah.
Any concerns for Alabama today?
No, I mean injuries, right? You don't ever want to lose someone to an injury in a game like this. I guess my biggest concern would be is if we came out and kind of wallered around. I don't want to see that. I really appreciated the professionalism that we brought to the Louisiana Monroe game, and we kept it through the end of the game with Milroe. Giving the effort to get into the end zone there in the 4th quarter. To score it. I think this team has the pieces, and they got to fit. Every year there's a melding point. I don't know what it is going to be just yet. Maybe it was Texas. Something tells me that's not it.
Right.
I think it's still coming. But you can tell that the guys care about each other.
Yeah.
You can tell by the way that they interact with one another that they care. And when you have that, that's to me, that is the fundamental start of a good team. Do you care about one another? And can you build off of that? Because when you care, you take care of your assignment, you take care of your body, you give extra effort because the person that's next to you care about. It's something that you don't want to disappoint. You're going to do what you have to do, to get a win and survive and advance. And I think this team has that. It's going to be fun to watch and grow. We need growth in certain spots, and again, because I think there is a fundamental element of caring. And I think we'll watch it. We'll see it.
Cathead, the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi, was founded in 2010 by friends and fellow Alabama grads, Austin Evans and Richard Patrick to create small batch spirits that give a taste of the South and Alabama football with every sip. Best known for its flagship Cathead vodka, Cathead Distillery produces 5 award-winning brands today, including Bristow Gin, Hoodoo Chicory Liquor, Old Soul Bourbon Whiskey, and Cathead Sparkling Canned Cocktails. Find out for yourself and pick some up for your next party or tailgate. CatheadDistillery.com. When we come back, we're going to pick this Alabama and Vandy game. Don't go anywhere. One more segment left on the Bama Insider Tailgate Show.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
Hi, Barry Buckner for Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. Side stickers mean you pay thousands more. Everything is value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. No additional dealer markups. It's just that simple. So if you're tired of getting stuck with side stickers, no additional markup is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyline and Hargrove.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, football is fine art. Now at newlifeart.com, see Daniel A. Moore's new 2021 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring 13 dynamic images of defining moments from the Saban era. As a special offer to listeners of this show, use coupon code ROLLTIDE for $5 off each calendar. To order yours, call 1-800-735-2787 or visit newlifeart.com today.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Nothing compares to being at the game in person, but the next best thing has to be Floribama's Old River Grill. There's over 40 TVs, a game day atmosphere, your favorite drinks, and a football menu that will blow you away. Santa Fe egg rolls, traditional jumbo chicken wings, grilled cheese and chili cheese dogs, and you've got to try our tender pork shank served with a tropical habanero sauce. We call them Island Pig Wings. Floribama's Old River Grill, the perfect game day when you can't be there in person. Floribama's Old River Grill, across the street from the world-famous Floribama.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Touchdown! Hey guys, look at me. Now look at yourselves. I make the big plays and the big games. You don't. Yeah, you would have made Allstate if Coach put you in. Keep telling that story, or you can actually play the game. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you in the starting lineup. I'll still be making the plays. You'll be making the bets. And finally getting the sports glory you deserve. The sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game.
Final segment of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show from Innisfree here in Tuscaloosa, getting you set for the 6:30 kickoff between Alabama and Vanderbilt. The Crimson Tide 3-0, Vandy 3-1 as we start the SEC schedule today here in Tuscaloosa, and it's a tough game for Alabama. Next week, we'll talk about that a little bit, Alabama and Arkansas, and that starts a gauntlet. But let me tell you guys this. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager. It's a 6th-generation company, and our friend Cheryl Yuengling, who's part of the company's ownership, a proud Alabama grad. There's a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles, and if you're doing the carb diet or you want something lighter, try Yuengling Flight. Baron Huber and Mick Gillispie at Innisfree talking some football. Now you kind of look at where Alabama's heading next, and they got to get by Vandy, but next week against Arkansas is a really tough game, so you got to figure it all out now.
Yeah, it's been a good 2 weeks, right? Trying to get things settled. We got some guys coming back from injuries that we're going to get healed up. There are spots on this team that just need more time. Secondary, parts of the secondary, I think, and our offensive line, and perhaps Bill O'Brien may need a little time to figure things out and figure this team out. He's got some new personnel, and we don't know what we don't know, and the fact that we have 2 players on the offense, 2 wide receivers that have been missing all year. I think that's a
Earl
part
and
of
Harrell.
our,
You feel like they're going to make a difference?
I think so. There's no way they don't. You don't have that much talent, that much speed, period, to not make a difference in play calling and just the overall flow and aggressiveness of an offense. It's there.
Well, Alabama and Vandy, I mean, this is a long time, matchup. I don't even want to call it a rivalry, but, I guess the biggest complaint I have is that Vanderbilt just hasn't invested much into their football program. They have the best city in the country, and and it's like they're a doormat. I think they're getting better. They have good coaching and all that. But
so, are you trying to? You say that we should oust them?
You want them out?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the SEC should look at it. I mean, moving forward, it's like
it's a charter member, man.
I know, but that's kind of what they lean on, but. They had to get a soccer player off the women's soccer team to kick extra points for them a couple years ago. I mean, what is this?
Well, I mean, if you're going to oust them, I think you can make an argument you got to oust Mississippi State. I don't know if there's a nickel's difference.
What about Missouri?
I would rather have Missouri's ass out before
Me
Vanderbilt. I think there's something that goes to being a charter member.
So you're fine with that.
I was done with Missouri several years back. I'll put it to you that way.
Right.
And I just don't think that they fit. They don't have the culture. It's not really not important to them. They play for fun. They don't play to win.
Right, and that's kind of how I look with Vanderbilt. It's like there's teams like West Virginia or schools like West Virginia and Oklahoma State and
North Carolina State. I've always thought that would be a natural fit.
Or Virginia Tech or Clemson or Florida State.
Cincinnati.
Even you're right. Even Cincinnati and Vanderbilt's collecting all the money and they're not spending it on football.
Well, they don't spend it on football. They're usually competitive in basketball, and certainly they've had a history in baseball. But I understand what you're saying. My biggest qualm with Vanderbilt is their stadium.
Yeah, right.
They need to spend more money fixing that thing up. That thing is trash.
It's not. It just doesn't fit.
Good. And even Mississippi State has a hell of a facility.
They do. And that's why they're like, they've got maybe the toughest places to recruit to. But you know what? They put their money into the facility and they're invested. All right, give me your prediction on today's game. Give me a score.
46-10.
46-10.
Yeah, I think 10. That's late score, right? I think we get out. We get out early and take care of business, and hopefully we treat this as a learning opportunity, and it's a chance to do it. Against those guys are on scholarship too, right?
Yeah,
it's not like we're playing, Sisters of the Poor. So I think it's a great learning opportunity for us. Let's get everybody healthy. Let's get into the Arkansas week, ready to go to Fayetteville and catch a live bullet.
Let me remind you guys that when we're on the road, we do it at the Floor Bama. They've got live music on 3 stages, open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. Free bingo Monday through Friday. Get your bushwhackers, and they've got plenty of TVs for all your football watching. Huge thanks to Yuengling Lager for helping us put this show on. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey, Cathead, and everyone else. It's been a lot of fun here hanging out today.
Absolutely. The scenery's been stellar as always, and I enjoy doing this with you, Mick. Thank you for letting me sit in, and it's good to know that the show's in good hands, and hopefully it's long and prosperous.
Yeah, look, guys, and I mean, hanging out with Baron, the guy that started this show as a player, Makes it so much fun. Hit the like button. That's a kind of a way of saying Roll Tide to us if you're watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, if you're hanging out with us here on radio. Roll Tide, everybody. We really appreciate you guys being here for the show at Innisfree. Special thanks to Tripp for making this always so hospitable. And I want to remind you that after the game on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, we will be on as soon as 3-0s hit and the game's over, 4 quarters are played, and we'll talk, Jay Barker and I, about the game. Break it down, take your calls, all that stuff at the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Alabama and Vanderbilt, they play at 6:30. Chris Daltrey, great work by him. And for our entire team, I'm Mick Gillispie. And again, just reminding you guys to like and subscribe to Bama Insider. And the Bama Insider on 3 now, available. $1 gets you 12 months. That special is going to be gone really, really fast. And so for Andrew Bone and Tripp, who swung over here with the screwball shots.
That sounds like Tripp. Yeah,
I know.
he's still
He's
in good form. He's still in good shape.
Doing his thing. Andrew Bone, who helps us out with recruiting every single week. Kenny out there in Vegas, who gives us our picks. And everyone else associated with the show. I'm Mick Gillispie. Again, Alabama kicks off at 6:30. We appreciate you so much for being part of our show today. It's going to be Alabama 60 and Vanderbilt 10. Roll Tide, everybody.
Boy.
Good night.